Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm here at Green Links Farms in southwest Colorado with one of our modular high-yield greenhouse kits you can see behind me. Green Links reached out to us with the idea of growing clones for hemp. As you can see, we are in very deserty conditions. High desert, we're at about 7,000 feet. Just to our west is Mesa Verde National Park. Green Links was looking for some indoor space as well as greenhouses and something that they could grow with into the future. So last summer we initiated the build with a central head house that you can see behind me and three 30-foot by 75-foot greenhouses, 2,250 square feet each. They used that greenhouse all summer this summer, producing hemp clones and doing some breeding for themselves and for hemp farmers across the state. And now that the cloning program is over for the year, they're adding another 30-foot by 150-foot greenhouse in the fourth slot of the head house. As you can see, they're building that right now. When we originally designed the head house, headers and doorways were in place for the fourth greenhouse, knowing that it would be coming at some point, which meant that all they had to do was remove the insulated metal panels, which they haven't done yet, but they will, and the greenhouse is ready to connect to the head house. Their head house they use for indoor growing. They also use, there's a bathroom and an office space and some other things. It's a very flexible space, fully insulated. And because we're remote here, they're actually using wood pellet furnaces for heating the greenhouses, which for them is a super efficient way to keep things nice and toasty all winter long. I'll take you around and show you some of the unique aspects of this greenhouse. We have our insulated automated vent for their wet wall cooling, as this is a vented greenhouse. And we'll just take you around and show you some of the details of what a modular high-yield greenhouse kit looks like. I wanted to show you guys real quick how the framing goes together in the greenhouse. So I'll take you back, and what I really want to talk about is the base frame, and I can show you some other pieces as well. The base frame comes as one big unit. It's 2 by 4 on the north and south walls. It's 2 by 3 on the end walls. But each one of these welded plates is connected to the base frame here as well. This bit is welded to this. So when we lay this greenhouse out, we have the base frame, which has holes already ready for our expansion bolts. And then it's swaged, so it actually slides into the next piece. So with the tape measure, you double check. This greenhouse is at 36.5-inch base spacing because of 80-pound snow loads. And then you just screw in, but all your columns are already set in place. So when the time comes to build the walls, you take this column and you just slide it over the bottom, screw it in with 4 bolts, and there you are. This is then the truss. The truss slides into the column and the wall is built. The wall girts go on after that, and then the purlins as well on the roof. But I just wanted you to see that this is a swaged, slide together, no cutting framing system. All right, excuse the construction noise, but I wanted to show you what it looks like putting in the insulated metal panels. The insulated metal panels are finished on the interior and the exterior with 26 gauge steel, pre-painted, and then polyurethane foam in the middle, sandwich panel bonded together. So when you put up a panel, you're putting up both the interior sheathing, the insulation, and the exterior sheathing all in one shot. The panels are a little more expensive to purchase than what traditional greenhouses are doing, but the speed and the labor more than makes up for it. These are all lap panels, so they all come together like this. They just slide in place one after the next, and each panel gets caulked down the entire run of the panel, screwed into the framing, and then the next panel comes over it. The caulk creates a really tight seal, and then you just roll down the line. These guys started putting these panels up about an hour ago. This is a 150-foot long greenhouse. I'd say they're about 1/5 of the way done with the north wall. By the end of the day, they might have it done, definitely by tomorrow. So in one full workday, you can do a 150-foot wall once you get good at installing the panels. All right, so here we are on the north side of the greenhouses. You can see we have one greenhouse here, the taller central head house, and then another greenhouse on the far side, the west side. This greenhouse experiences high heat in the summer because of the high elevation and the dry environment. It also is very cold and has a lot of snow in the winter. So again, this is a 3-inch insulated metal panel building. That's an R24 insulation value on the north wall and the north roof, as you can see. Because this greenhouse is vented, we've added a wet wall. We're in a very dry climate. A wet wall, adding moisture to air, cools it significantly. We can actually cool air up to 30 degrees here, which is all the cooling that they needed all summer. Worked great. It also adds humidity to the greenhouse, which in a climate like this, where we're at maybe 17% humidity in the middle of the summer, that added moisture is really beneficial to the plants. But we also know that we have to be ready for cold, long winters. So what we've done is we've developed a wet wall vent that is completely operated by the controller. But we used our existing insulated metal panel wall as the material to create the vent. So we put the wall up, and then we actually cut out our vent hole and rebuild the vent with the pieces that we've pulled off the wall. What this allows us to do, obviously, is be open and allow airflow through, like you're seeing now. It's probably about 75, maybe 77 degrees right now here. And in the evenings and all winter, the controller says, okay, it's colder outside, we don't need cooling anymore, close the vent, and then you have a fully sealed, insulated north wall, just like you would without the vent. Traditional greenhouses tend to use a polycarbonate flap that doesn't seal very well, allows some leaking in the winter. It's a place where heat escapes or cold air comes in the winter when you really don't want cold air coming in. I'll just walk over and show you that if you can see this, this is a fully gasketed vent. So when this thing closes, it squeezes tight against the gasket and the framing, and you have a really good seal. We're also using a rack and pinion system designed for outdoor use that opens and closes at percentages, however you dictate that via the controller. So you can walk away and know that this greenhouse is going to vent when needed. It will be closed when needed. The wet wall will turn on as needed, and you don't have to have someone here worrying about it. You'll also see, and I'll show you more on the end wall, that we have two 24-inch intake louvers for both greenhouses here. There will be times, especially in the winter, when we want to vent a little bit, but we don't need to turn on our big 36-inch fans. This allows us to keep the wet wall vent closed and a whole north wall insulated while still allowing some intake air through the 24-inch intake vents. We've also added hoods to those vents to keep weather off of the louvers and out of the greenhouse. All right, so here we are inside one of the greenhouses. As I said earlier, it's maybe between 75 and 80 outside today. Because of the wet wall and the insulated vent that we talked about earlier, it is much more comfortable in this greenhouse than it is outside. Happy plants equal high yielders, and that's what we're after. This greenhouse is a 16 millimeter triple wall polycarbonate south-facing roof and south wall. Polycarbonate does not allow UV through. It has a UV blocker. In hemp production, that's actually beneficial. UV tends to promote THC production in hemp plants. And with hemp, we're trying to keep THC levels below 0.3% for it to be legal as hemp. So these are CBD specific plants, and the polycarbonate works really well at blocking UV, which helps us keep THC levels low. I just wanted you to see that there's different ways to grow. We've got plants on tables, we've got plants in pots, but really I just want to show you that these plants are nearing the end of the season. It's the end of September, and we have very little stress, very happy plants, and throughout the entire summer we've seen nothing but excellent growth and excellent production out of these greenhouses.